Alright, I thought it would be fun to show you what I do when it comes to laying out a commercial building on a plumbing project before we even start it. So this is going to be a long video. I've already done this once, so I kind of got a game plan. So with some scaled fittings in Bluebeam, you can do some pretty cool stuff. I've just made some new ones, so this could this could be a little tricky, but I think it'll be cool. So stick around, watch it, and see what happens. Alright, so the first thing I've done is I brought in a scale of this building. The architectural drawing for the first floor before I get going. And again, I know where most of the stuff is going here. I might have to go back and double check a couple things to make sure I get everything, but I know most of what's going on, so this shouldn't be too bad. So I pulled in the drawing. I created a large page in Bluebeam, a very large page. It's 72 by 96 or whatever. So I can double the scale because I like to work at least a 1/4 inch a foot. A 1/2 inch per foot might even be better, but we're going to give this a shot at a 1/4 inch per foot and see how it goes, because once you start going too big, it gets kind of wonky getting a hold of all the lines and stuff sometimes. It's been a while since I tried, but anyway, so we're going to try this. So first thing I'm going to do is I am going to change the colors of this a little bit and lower the luminosity, and I don't think you're going to be able to see where I'm doing this, but I can make another, well, I'm going to raise the luminosity. I can make another video on how to do this at some point, but for now just let me do this, and I'm going to change it a little bit so that we've got a lighter background on this so I can see what I'm doing more. So it's more grayed out, and then I'm going to flatten this so that it won't move around now, right? So first thing I want to do is lay out some important lines. You can see that I have some toilets and stuff over here. I've got a mop sink, an eye wash, a water heater. Water heater's irrelevant right now. There's a couple floor drains in here that I need to get in the right spot. As a matter of fact, I might need to pull those in so that I can make sure I get them where they're shown. That will be one thing that I have to pull in the correct location. As a matter of fact, let me just do that real quick. Let me see if I can pull in the other sketch I did and add those floor drains in, because I'm not going to remember exactly where those go. Let's see if I can pull this off without having to cut it out. So this is at this is at half the size. Can't do that. Oh, I'm gonna have to, what? I'm gonna have to do this like this. Bring up my handy calculator. 8.6153 times 2. This is just so I can adjust the size. 17.2306. 17.2306. Why won't it let me do it? just gonna have to do it like this and eyeball it, because I need to get these floor drains in. Come on. This is probably, probably not the best way to do this, but, you know, it's going to have to work. I'm trying to do it as quickly as possible so we can get into something else. Alright, I'm going to line up this mop sink, because that should get me darn close enough for some floor drains. Ungroup this. And you can see kind of like what I'm thinking on this layout. Matter of fact, most of this should line right up. It's a little bit off. No, we're gonna do it from scratch. Smart. I'll edit this out. If I'm not, I won't. I probably won't. Because I'll be too lazy to. It'll be too much work. But I want to get these floor drains in without having to mess around. So anyway, obviously the easier thing to do would be pull in your plumbing, take some measurements, and actually mark out your floor drains. That wouldn't be too hard, right? That wouldn't be too hard at all to pull off. But since I've already done this once, I'm probably wrong, but I think this might be the easier way to do it. There's that. I'm going to leave that there. That's a stack. That's another stack. I'm going to leave that there so I don't forget where it's at. All the other stuff I can kind of see on the architectural. So we're going to just leave that alone for now. So this isn't a bad layout at all, right? The way I had it laid out would work just fine for the most part. But what I want to do is I want to have everything in here to scale. And it should be fun, alright? It should be very interesting getting this all in there to scale. Oh, you know what? I'm going to leave that there because that is my clean out. That position probably isn't exact. Cleanouts are obviously the least important thing. To get perfect as long as you're in the ballpark. Alright. So now that I got these in here, what I want to do, make sure everything's going here. Alright. What I want to do is I want to trace some of these walls. Alright. So you can see that line there, that line there. I want to trace some of these walls in and make sure that I'm dead nuts on where the wall needs to be. Dead on. Alright. And then I want to get these toilets laid out. So I'm going to draw some lines. And I'll tell you, man, CAD drawings are extremely accurate, and Bluebeam is extremely accurate. Alright, so we draw a line in right there where you can see this stud line, and you draw a line in right here where you can see this stud line. Boom. You should be able to take if your scale set 1/4 inch per foot on this, because it was originally 1/8 inch per foot and I doubled the size, right? You should be able to say, okay, that should be the stud wall, right? And boom, 3 3/4. Let me fix this so we're down to a 1/16 accuracy. Ooh, we're actually a hair off. We're 1/16 off, 3 5/8. Go down to an 1/8 inch accuracy. You should be fine. If you're within an 1/8 inch on everything, you're good. So that is 3 5/8. It is not dead accurate. It's a 1/16 off. But let me tell you what, with an architect's rule, you ain't getting within no 1/16, okay? It ain't happening. But Bluebeam can. Bluebeam and everything else can. So we're going to trace some of these walls, and we want to grab the inside portion of the center line. It will actually snap right there to the inside portion of that wall where that line exists in the CAD file. And if we double check again, make sure this is a 3 5/8 wall. Yes, it is. We are on the stud line, okay? And this isn't like this set of drawings is good for it, you know what I mean? This is almost all decent sets of drawings that were originally CAD. Bluebeam will be able to grab these lines real good. Alright, so you can do this. CAD is obviously dead accurate because they input these measurements as they do the CAD drawing. Alright, so as they're doing the CAD drawing, is that right? Is that the inside portion of that wall? As they do the CAD drawing, every one of these lines is made so that they are exactly perfect, right? And since the CAD drawing is exactly perfect, Bluebeam can see that those lines and snap to them really well. Okay, really well. So we can actually grab, let me see if I can do it. We can grab the outside portion of this wall. If we grab 5 1/8, so 3 5/8, let's see if this is right. 3.625 plus 0.625 plus 0.625 be 4.875. So we're actually, we're actually outside right here. But we should be able to grab the drywall too. It's a little bit harder to grab the drywall to make sure we're on where the drywall is. But I'll see if I can grab it. I like grabbing the stud wall anyway. There we go, right there. There's your drywall, 4 7/8, right? I accidentally closed it, but that's what it was, right? I'm not that good with math at the top of my head. 3.625 is our stud wall plus 0.625 for 5/8 drywall plus 0.625 for 5/8 drywall is 4.875, which is 4 7/8 with the drywall. So that is the actual outside to outside. Now the line's a little thicker there, so I don't know what the score is with that on CAD, where it's got that thicker line. You would think they'd make this line end right there where it should exist, the edge of the drywall, but it doesn't. It does go past. Now what I'm doing as I'm going is I'm double checking to make sure I'm grabbing the stud walls. If we don't have to be 100% perfect, but we want to be really close, because that would of course be ideal to have all these walls exactly where we need them. And I'm just drawing out the most important walls here where I've got to be able to measure off of them and get all my center lines in place, right? We want to get everything in place so that we know what we're measuring off of. We've got all the relevant walls laid out, and then we can check our measurements, right? We check our measurements. We don't know if this is inside or outside wall. So this is we're pulling an eighth off here, right? Pulling an eighth off, and if you look, it looks like we're an eighth off the center too. So we're an eighth off on that one. But again, an eighth off is no big deal, okay? If you're an eighth inch off when you lay this out, you're not going to notice it. So we'll either write down or pull the dimensions from these walls and lay out these walls using the architectural dimensions, which is why I like to do it over top of the architectural. Remember, architectural trumps everything. So we'll take these dimensions and do it like that, and verify with the stud guy, hey, which walls are you using, and then lay out from there. Or we'll just scale off, and again, we'll be within an eighth, maybe a quarter inch on all our stuff, so we can always nudge the pipes a little bit if we need to, this way or that way. Again, we don't, we're not mill workers. We're not trying to get down to a 32nd of an inch accuracy exactly where we lay out. We're just trying to get as close as possible. I promise you the fun stuff's coming. Alright, so what we want to do is, there's a couple ways to pull this off. You can either draw yourself a line. Alright, so let's draw a line at, we take this, and then you can go into Bluebeams, go into properties, and we know a 1 foot line is 0.25 inches because we're a quarter inch a foot, right? We can draw a line that is 1 foot. Ooh, we actually need a half inch because we need to be an extra half inch off the wall for our toilets, right? So I'm trying to lay out the center line of my toilets. Here's what I'm trying to do. So 0.25 divided by 12 makes every inch 0.02083333 inches on the drawing. So if we multiply that by 12 and a half, 12 and a half is close enough. You can do 12 and 5/8 if you want, but we're going to have a little bit of a rounding error here anyway. 0.2604 inches would be 12 and a half inches. So we can draw this line 0.2604 inches long, right? And that gets us exactly that off the wall. I'm going to delete this one because it's an old one. That was my old center line. And then we can draw another line, right? You know what? Let's make this one like orange or something so that we can differentiate it. These are center lines of toilets. We'll make those orange, okay? So we can do it like that and then delete this line which marked our point, or we can take the measurement tool, measure, and go grab onto our line where our wall is, get the measurement, 1 foot a half inch, and nope, get this old line out of the way again because it messed up our measurement. So that line was 3/8 of an inch off. Go down, try and get to 1 foot a half inch, right there, 1 foot a half inch. Oh, it went to 5/8. That would be close enough, right? Let's see if we can actually get it to stop where we want it to. This is why I don't like doing it sometimes. I'd rather draw the line. Because I can control the dimension. But if we can do it, if you don't like doing that calculation to figure out where you need to be, you can just use the measure tool to get there. And Bluebeam also has stuff to sketch to scale and things like that, which is really cool. I find with most of what I do that it is easier to just use the regular tools, but the sketch to scale is kind of nice. It's punching in the numbers and then get it to go the right direction sometimes, especially when you're trying to use the polyline, which is what I was excited for, can get difficult. Alright, so anyway, there's our center line of our toilet, this way and this way. That's where our flange is going to go up, right? We still have one more to do here. So remember, it was 0.2604. 2604. Boom. That is 12.5 inches. Draw our center line. Boom. Make it orange. Delete that. And we can always take our ruler and double check that we are exactly 1.5 inches. Alright, so there's our center lines of our toilets off the wall. And then what we want to do is measure the architecturals. Here's our partition, there's our rough wall, 3 foot and 5/8 of an inch. So it's a 3 foot wide stall after the drywall's there, right? So we can take a line, draw 18 inches. That should be, is that going to be the center line? I don't know. 0.25. 18 inches on 0.25 is 0.375, right? Just make sure. We can always do this again. And this usually works out plenty accurate enough. If we go 0.25 divided by 12, remember each inch is 0.0208 inches times 18 gives us 0.375, right? So this line should be 0.375 long off the partition to get us to the inside of the partition. And no, it added part of that 1/8 of an inch, because Bluebeam will snap to the center lines too, right? So we want to make sure. So the center line of that toilet, that's 18 inches off the wall, 18.5. Now the other toilet, alright, the other toilet is a handicap. And I don't, on handicaps, ADA allows 16 to 18 inches, right? ADA allows 16 to 18 inches. So I don't like to go 18.5 off the wall there. I like to go 18 or less, usually 17. Let's go 18. Let's go 17.5. All right, because I always want some room for error there. I always want some room for error because I don't want to try and get my handicap toilet perfect and end up with it being off. So 12 divided by, no, 0.25 divided by 12. No. 0.25 divided by 12. Get the exact number again. Multiply that times 17.5. Let's do 0.3645. I like that. And that gives me, that puts me 17.5 off the rough wall, which should put me 17 off the actual wall roughly. And that way we have room for error. Alright, we've got some room for error here. So we know our handicaps will be right. We can always adjust this partition or something, or figure something out there. Usually on that one it'll actually be tough because the handicap's against it. But we can always do something there to try and center up this toilet. If this handicap is wrong, we're in trouble, right? So we don't want to mess around. Alright, so here's our other partition. We're going to grab the other side of that and do the same thing. 0.3645 and be 17.5 off that partition. So that should be darn close. And then draw another line. Make this orange. Boom. Center lines of those toilets. Do another one here. Same thing off the wall. We'll go 3645. 17.5 is fine. Normally I go 17, but 17.5 will get us a lot closer on this instance, because we're going off a rough wall. If you're measuring off of rough wall out in the field and you've already got a wall up, I'll go 18. 18 off the rough wall, that gives me 2 inches for that thing to move. But on a groundwork where I know everything might shift both ways, I want a 1/2 inch of play the other way too, at least. 17, maybe 17.5 off a rough. Give myself room to move both ways so I don't end up in a pickle. Alright? Because that's the last thing we want. Alright. Those were the only critical things, right? Toilets are critical. Everything else can be off. So, what do I got on tools? I don't know if I've added. Yep, I did. Alright, so what I have here, and I can get it. You can get it. See my video. I'm probably going to put a video up soon saying, hey, if you want to get these fittings to scale, yo, hit me up. This is exactly the size of a 2-inch pipe going up in this stud. So this circle is the outside diameter of a 2-inch pipe up. And for this lavatory here, we want to go behind. I always do my lavatories off center, right? Because I don't want to try and get dead center and have to offset over. I can arm over to this lavvy. So I'm going to stick this lavvy right here. So I've got to arm over to it. And it doesn't have to be perfectly center line. It would be nice if I could get a little closer though. Why is it wanting to snap over so much? If you have to, you can draw a line, draw another line that grabs the center, go right down the wall and see if we can get this circle to snap. There. So that's one way. That's why I'm making the video, right? That's one way to get it to snap dead center, is you draw a line between where you want the center and then pull the center line off of that, and you can get your markups to snap there. Or if you need to, turn off snap and everything so that you can get it to go, because sometimes these things are going to be a pain in the butt to get them exactly where you want them. Alright, and then over here there's a double lavvy here I want to catch, so I'm going to go center of these 2 lavies and catch that as a double lavvy, right? So we'll go right there. 2-inch pipe up over here to catch this urinal, and I'm going to go off the side a little bit so I can arm over and catch the urinal. Now this lavvy looks like it's farther that way than this urinal, so that could pose an issue, okay, getting this urinal dead center. But the urinal is only 1, so this urinal is going to be lower than this lavvy, so this pipe will arm over and this pipe will arm over below that, so we don't have a problem. But keep those things in mind, right? There could be an issue there if you're not careful, and it's not dead center again. Get it to snap dead center. Bam. X. Control X, Control X, take the line out. Alright, so We've got where we want to stub up that lavvy, where we want to stub up that lavvy, where we want to stub up that urinal. We got toilet here. We've got this mop sink. Interesting. I'm going to, is that good? No, let's change the color of this a little bit. Let's make it blue. That's pretty good. There's our mop sink. Alright, so what I'm going to do with the mop sink is I'm going to draw 2 lines to center up the actual center, and then I will pull a 3-inch pipe in and try and center that up exactly. Bam, bam. Looks like it's good. Yep. Obviously, you're going to need to put that trap in and check that. Ooh. And I didn't sketch any traps. We're going to have to compensate for that. We're going to have to figure that situation out. We're going to have to do a workaround because I didn't sketch any to scale traps. I'll have to make some to scale traps. Alright. We have an eye wash here. Now, it's not relevant, but I am actually not sure if they want this eye wash in the wall, because this is a CMU wall, or they want it out. There's a set of drawings that shows it out. There's a set of drawings that shows it in the wall. For now, I'm going to stub this up dead center, and hopefully I don't have to change it. Alright, so it's going to go dead center of that CMU wall. I think I want to do that anyway, and then pop it out of the wall for the vent. But this is like a mechanical area, so theoretically I should be able to just do this outside the wall. But we're going to go inside that CMU wall, which is going to be a nightmare, and deal with that as we go. And then we have another lavvy over here. Let's put a 2-inch pipe up over here, and we may end up moving that because it doesn't really matter where that lavvy lands as long as it's off center. We have a 3-inch stack up right here. As a matter of fact, let me just double check that. Or no, I think that was a 4-inch stack up. 4-inch down. Yeah. 4-inch down. So there's a 4-inch stack in this 3 5/8 wall. That should be able to be a 3-inch stack. I'm almost positive that can be a 3-inch stack. Let's check that. Alright, we're gonna have no, it's kind of important. It's kind of important. Am I going to change that to a 3-inch stack? That's 1, 2 toilets. Call that 10. Should be able to be a 3-inch stack. No, we're going to make it a 4-inch stack. That's what they show in the drawings. I may have to change that. I may have to adjust the measurement later. But they show a 4-inch there, so it'll have to be 4-inch. Let's just do it the way it's drawn for this. Alright, 4-inch stack. We can see that 4-inch stack is bigger than this wall. Get that in there. That is a problem, putting a 4-inch stack in this stairwell wall. I don't like it, but it is what it is because that's what they show. Alright, we have a 3-inch sanitary stack over here, and honestly I don't know why they're not hitting in this chase. That's none of my business. when it comes to stacks and things like that, you really want to defer to the engineer, right? You want to defer the engineer without making too many changes. Vents and stuff, which we're going to change how they vented everything, is one thing. Changing the position of the stack without double checking everything before you do it is a really bad idea. You don't want to go changing where you're putting stacks until you've coordinated everything. So for now, we are going to just leave it be. Don't ask too many questions. Now, these drinking fountains, I think I'm going to do those off center. Drinking fountains can be a pain. You stub up center in between them, then you get yourself in trouble. Sometimes, depending on how they're made, a lot of times you'll be safer if you arm over on each one. So you'll have two T's right on top of each other instead of a cross. But A, that makes it easier for the guy to snake if he's really got to snake it, right? And B, it saves you, if this thing extends into the wall, screwing yourself somehow. So we got that. And then besides that, all we got is two floor drains up here. Oh, and there's a clean out here, which will hit, but they actually want to extend this out the building and put a clean out. Alright, so we have got all of our fixtures placed. As a matter of fact, let's go ahead and center up. Let's center up a 4-inch pipe on this toilet. And see, this sometimes centering this up is a pain. Ooh, we got it. Sometimes that's a pain to center it up when you got a cross line there. And you may have to turn off snap or something to get it to do what you want it to do. But just eyeball it, dead center the best you can, and you should be good. I may regret putting these here because sometimes some of the other things won't want to snap right. But this will give me a good visual of where I'm shooting for, and I'm doing 4-inch up because I'm doing 4-inch up because that's why I like to stub up, right? We're going to do 3x4 closet L's going up to these. I actually ran the numbers, and this is really overthinking things sometimes, but I ran the numbers. It's cheaper to do a 4x3Y with a 3x4 closet elbow than it is to just run 4-inch. This whole line's going to have to be 4-inch, so that is what it is. But we're going to do 4x3Ys with 4x390s and stub up 4-inch. Interesting fact. They're actually starting to make closet carriers 3-inch going out to the carrier. Zern is, and that's because what we're finding is that 1.6 gallon per flush toilets don't flush enough water to properly clean out 4-inch pipe. Really, you should be using the smallest pipe size possible as your sizing systems. I know that's counterintuitive. You think make the pipe bigger, less likely to clog, but the smaller the pipe is, the better it gets cleaned out from the water running. So always using the smallest pipe that is recommended for your situation, that you can size it as small as possible. So it's 3-inch to most of your toilets and things like that. That is going to that's going to clean out the pipe better. So you're going to have a better functioning plumbing system if your pipe is sized on the small side than if it is sized on the bigger side of things. So that's just something to keep in mind. Alright, so you know what? I'll do it like this. So it's 4-inch coming in. I'm going to center a 4-inch on my pipe where it's got to come in the building. Let me X this out. Oh no. Let me leave that there for a second. Let me make this line thinner so that I can get a better center line on it. This doesn't have to be dead exact where it comes in the building, but this should be darn close enough. Alright, so there's, matter of fact, I'll measure it. Where's my clean out? 5 foot out. So let's put my clean out about 5 foot out. Well, is there a sidewalk there? Let's do 2 foot out the building. Let's just do it 2 foot out the building. So I can start about 2 foot out. Close enough. About 2 foot out the building is my clean out. That should be far enough away I don't cause any trouble. And that is my center line of my pipe coming in the building. And then I'm pretty sure what I want to do is the line that's coming up to these toilets, I think I want to run right underneath this partition basically. I think that's where I want this line, and hopefully I don't regret that. But I think I want this line to come right here and go straight up the building. And I'm going to make this green. I think that's going to work out. That's how I had it laid out before. Alright. And then I think I want this line, this footer, this is important, right? There's a footer that goes underneath this wall in the building, and it's about 1 foot, if I recall, 1 foot 2 to the edge of the slab where the slab's deeper to meet this footing. So I want to be 2 foot over where I'm coming up to catch this floor drain and this eye wash and everything. I want to be 2 foot over from this wall to come up and catch that stuff, and I'm gonna have to kick over or something to catch this floor drain. I'm really not sure how I want to pull this off, because I don't really want it next to the eye wash. I want it up here next to the water heater, and no matter what I do, it's gonna be funky turning back around to do this. There's a couple ways to pull it off, but none of it's ideal, because I want to circuit vent it. None of it's ideal. So I'm going to work out that detail later. I may end up moving this floor drain. I'm going to actually work out this detail out in the field. But for now, this is probably the one that's most likely to change. But for now, I'm just going to run it up. So I want to start this line. I want this to be I didn't make a T either, because I think I want to come up for this clean out and then go that way on a sanitary T, but I can use a 90. A 90 is the same as a T going that way, so I think that's how I'm going to do this one. So I think I'm going to put the clean out here, and then I'm going to go that way. So as we're doing this, what you want to do is think about, okay, how do I want to run all this stuff? I also need a sanitary main that goes straight up the line, and that actually shows it almost dead underneath this toilet. I'm gonna go probably just a hair off center of that. I need to be at least, you know what, yeah, I want to be at least 2 foot over. Where's that put me? When this sanitary line goes up, I want to be at least 2 foot over. Yeah, I'm gonna be at least 2 foot, because this toilet is gonna be 3 feet over. I kind of want to be off these floor drains and stuff. I don't want to be dead underneath of it where this stuff comes over. So yeah, let's go 3 foot. 3 foot should be good. Let's shoot for 3 foot because that's close to the drawings, but not exactly underneath everything. 2 foot 11 and 5/8, whatever. Let's see if that works out. We might move that a hair. So we're getting to the fun part soon, right? We are getting to what's actually the fun part. So we have a line here that I want to use to catch all this stuff. Alright, I can Y off that wherever I want to do that. Matter of fact, we'll probably come off this line. So I want to Y off to catch all this stuff. I want to Y off to catch this, and I need this to continue on to catch everything else. So all these fixtures are going to be off one branch. I'll show you this again real quick. See, this is kind of the idea. Alright, the idea is run up, catch this. This is going to change. I'm going to move this to the other side. But all of this stuff is going to be off one circuit vented branch, right? And then my line is going to continue, catch this stack, catch that stack, catch these 2 fixtures, catch that floor drain, catch that floor drain. Alright, so that is the plan. But I want it to be sketched to scale. And I may have to make a couple of, there's a couple fittings that I haven't sketched up. I may sketch up one of them real quick so that I got it, but for now, let's work on what we have here. Alright, so this is where it gets fun. Alright, this is what I've got. Okay? This is what I've got that you can have. This is the power of Bluebeam. Not only can you do estimating and everything with it, you can sketch everything exactly to scale. Alright, so here is our 4-inch PVC-Y. This is our 4-inch PVC-Y. I love this stuff. I don't know why I love it so much. I'm such a nerd. Alright, this is our 4-inch PVC-Y. Alright. Boom. 4-inch PVC-Y. Perfectly to scale. Pulls into Bluebeam perfectly to scale. Alright. We're going to put this over here because we need to catch this. Here is our 4-inch PVC 45. Ooh, no, we don't want that. We want a 4-inch PVC Street 45 perfectly to scale. We want this on a 45, and we are going to snap it right onto that. Alright, we are going to group these two together, and we are going to snap it to these 2 lines. Bam. Right there. Goes up exactly where we want it. And I know you're thinking, oh Chris, this is impossible. You're never going to put this in exactly like that. Negative, my friend. All you have to do is get a couple fittings laid out perfect, and you will save a ton of time. Now this is a groundwork, so it is a little trickier, okay? It's a little trickier to get a couple things dead to rights so that all this will link up just fine. But on big pipe and stuff, this is a huge, an absolutely huge labor saver, alright? Gigantic, immense, alright? On bigger lines and on stuff, especially that doesn't have too many critical measurements, you can get everything, alright? Everything exactly the way you want it. Alright, over here we're going to do a 4-inch PVC 90 up. Boom, right there. Perfectly center. perfectly center. As a matter of fact, no, it's good. Alright, I'll probably want to add a line there so that's center. We got a 4-inch PVC 90 there. Alright, and then what we can do is we can draw a rectangle right here. Alright, side to side. Let's make this let's make this a different color. Let's make the fill color our light green, right? Yeah, let's do that. And that's the piece of pipe that goes in between that Y and that 90. As a matter of fact, I want to have some line width there. And set as default. Alright, and that's our piece of pipe going in between there and there. Alright, then let's get our PVC 90 up. 3-inch PVC 90 for our mop sink. Ooh, no, we need a trap. That's right, we need a trap. I didn't sketch a trap. I will probably sketch a trap for that. For now, let's just do a line, dead center. Let's do a line dead center so we can line that up. Let's put a 4x3 PVCY right here. Line up those centers. Get this line out of our way for a minute. Yeah, that's pretty good. That's good. Alright, so we got a 4x3Y here. Are we doing 4x3 or are we doing 3-inch? Man, that thing can be 3-inch. Let's make this line 3-inch. So let's take that out. Let's do a 3-inch Y there. Alright. Let's do a 3-inch Y there. Make this line lighter so that I can see better. And make sure we're getting it dead center. Come on. Snapping center lines can be a pain. It's better to build it going up than it is to try and snap these center lines perfect. But we're going to a trap there. It doesn't have to be within 1/8 of an inch. I mean, it is. Let's see if we can see how far off it looks like. It looks like it's just a hair off. 1/8 of an inch. It looks like it's 1/8 of an inch off. But there we go. There's that. Alright, and then let's draw a line here. Because I want to stick a 3x2 right here. Alright, 3x2Y. I want to stick that here. Let's make sure these line up. Dang it. Stop grabbing. Grab the fitting. There. Ooh. Alright, good enough. Alright. X. Let's go ahead and draw a rectangle. There's our piece of pipe in between there. And then hitting this drain's gonna be fun. We gotta draw the trap and stuff, so I'll get to that in a bit. I will, I didn't do a 4x3 T. As a matter of fact, let's compensate for that now. Alright, let's see what a 4x3 T is. Instead of sketching that to scale, let's do a workaround. See if I can find these dimensions real quick, because I at least want to get that far with that line to say I got that far. So that we can get those dimensions. Alright, that's event T, crosses, sanitary T, 4x3 sanitary T. Alright, 4x4x3 PVC sanitary T. Center line to up is going to be 3 9/16. 3 9/16. So let's go back here. And from the center line of this over, our pipe is going to need to start 3 9/16 off this line. So let's just give us a starting point. So that's 3 5/8 basically. Let's just call it 3 5/8. That's going to be the side of our hub. Alright, so we'll draw our rectangle down from here down to that line. Should be good. Went too far over. There we go. There's our pipe there to there. Now, what we need to do is deal with a coupling somewhere in here, right? We can see that this is going to be too far. So this piece of pipe, well, maybe not. Is it under 20? Oh, it's only 9 feet. Yep, never mind. So no, there's no coupling there. There is no coupling on that piece. That's a 9-foot piece of pipe. So, cool. Why does it seem so far? I don't know. It's only 9 feet. So it's 9 foot from there to there, and that's going to connect. We'll draw a little line here to here. And that is room for our T. Alright. This is the dimensions of our T. As a matter of fact, let's we can do a rectangle there. It should look okay. That's what it would look like anyway if I sketched that fitting out. So that's our T on its side. That's my current plan. I may choose to use a Y later, but for now, this line comes over, catches that, comes over, catches this, goes up here, goes to that. We have to figure out the distance on the trap, which we're not going to do right now, but we can do that, or in the field we know will end right here, so we can do that dimension with the trap so we can get that mop sync perfect. Do this over to here. Ooh, we can do the 90 up, 2-inch PVC 90 up, put that on a 45. Is it on a 45? Yeah. Just looked off for a second. Line this up, boom, snap it right in place. And then we can, here's where it gets to be a pain. You can't draw a rectangle this way, so you got to use the polygon tool if you want to make it look nice and smooth for a piece of pipe. Alright. Line width set as default. Since we're on a 45, you can't use that. So there's that pipe, there's that pipe. Figure out this mess out in the field. I really got to figure out this mess out in the field anyway, so we won't have that dimension, but we can stop at this point with these, right? We're going to do catch this mop sink, catch this, and then probably 45 over, maybe even 45 back here, but since I got it drawn like this, let's just figure on this. Send that 2-inch over, and then 45 over. Probably use a T on its back in a 45 or something to try and go up into that wall for a vent, and then catch this trap. Because we want to circuit vent these two. We probably can call it a common vent, whatever you want, but I want to do that. So that's something I'm going to have to figure out in the field. But the beauty of this, when we're this far, is that now we know that if we line this up, we have a piece of pipe. We know that this piece of pipe right here would have to be boom to boom, 9 foot 10 and 7/8. And we know this piece of pipe here, boom, 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 1 foot 8.5. And we know that this piece of pipe here, boom, boom, 2 foot 9. Alright, and then we can figure out the other ones. So if we start this off at the right spot, if we make this dimension exact off this wall, alright, start this line, make sure that this Y ends up in the right spot. Alright, so this is kind of our critical Y right here, and I probably wouldn't make this the critical fitting, but you know, we get one fitting, take an hour max, right? An hour max to get a critical fitting set. Probably not even an hour, 30 minutes to get all these dimensions perfectly right. Get like a gunner piece in here, a gunner piece in here, square it up, get this Y in the perfect spot, you know, take this dimension off the wall to the center line of the 45 to, you know, some wall. Probably this one, because this block wall has to be perfect, as a matter of fact. Yeah, this block wall has to be perfect, right? So 2 foot 11 and 5/8 off that block. Get the center of your main 2 foot 11 and 5/8 off the block wall. Get this. There's going to be a block wall down here. Yeah, this should be the CMU wall. But we'll go off of the column line. Alright, we'll go off the column line. You go off this column line and get the center of your pipe. Because it's not you want a measurement that's nice and short, right? You want to find a nice short measurement and use that. So these are kind of crappy options, 7 foot 4 and 7/8 and 2 foot 11 and 5/8. Obviously it's nicer to shoot for a nice even 7 foot 5 and 2 foot 11 3/4 or 3 foot, you know what I mean? You might want to place that fitting and say, I'll move it so that it's there. But if we get this Y centered up right in those two dimensions, we cut a 5'4" piece, we're right where distance is right here. Put our 90 on, go up, get a 9'10" piece, our distance is right here. Get a 1'8.5" piece, our distance is right here. Put this Y on, put a 2'9" piece, our distance is right here. And then so on and so forth. You just cut every piece. Now, when you actually do it, cut all these pieces 1/8 to 1/4 shorter. Alright, unless you're chamfering this pipe and making it perfect, or you make perfectly straight cuts and chamfer it, you're gonna lose 1/8 to 1/4 and an inch on all these pieces of pipe. So as you say, cut me a piece 9'10" and 1/8, cut it 9'10". Cut me a piece 1'8.5", cut it 1'8 1/4. You know, make it just a little shorter, and double check your measurement. Make sure you're gluing that bad boy in all the way. But you cut these pieces and it's just pop, 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 pop. I should have pulled it up. I have a I did a whole 8-inch storm line like this, hanging off of a beam. Straight 8-inch storm line going up to some roof drains. Obviously roof drains, you got a little bit of play, and you want to have something where you got some swing here and there. But it ends up dead accurate, man. Dead accurate. You just cut me a 3-foot piece, cut me a 3.5-foot piece, cut me a 4'5" piece. Boom, 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 boom. Every Y ends up in exactly the right spot. You just put everything right together, put it in, you're good to go, and you don't even have to double check, well, how far, hold this up, hold that up, make sure you're in the right spot, get a bunch of marks everywhere. You just go next piece, next piece, next piece, next piece. And especially when you've got good situations like that 8-inch storm line, where it's really simple to just go boom, 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 boom. It saves you a ton of time. And you can have these scaled fittings in Bluebeam and just set this up. The whole setup takes a while, right? But then once you've got it set up, man, all right, I'm good to go now. I think what I want to do is I want to set everything up so this Y right here, this first Y, is going to be my it's going to go straight without having a 45 or something, right? So let's save a fitting, So we take this 2-inch PVC 90 up, stick it on a 45, put this over here, get it where we want it, snap into place you, snap into place you. It's gonna be a little bit finicky. Anyway, get that snapped into place, good enough, within 1/8 of an inch. 4x2Y. Get this lined up. Bam, snap perfect. I got a 4x2Y there, so that's my first Y on this, right? So let's make it real nice and go 4-inch PVC street 45 right in the back of it. Pow, right in the kisser. Snap that in place. Let's draw a line. Come over here. Put that line where we want it. 4-inch PVC Y. Gotta get this to line up just so. Bam. In there like swimwear, buddy. That is where that Y would end up. And then And this is just so it looks neater. You really don't even have to put the extra rectangles here, but you put the extra rectangles so that it looks like it's all nice and pretty. It's kind of a dumb extra step really, because you just measure the distance from fitting to fitting, but this gives you a visual of, hey, I finished up this line, this is good to go. So there's my 4x2Y there. Alright, here's my two-inch pipe going up to there. Alright, so this is where I want to start this whole deal. This whole deal is going to start here. If I'm being honest, I'm probably not going to, as a matter of fact, it's not going to be a Y there. Alright, so let's just make it right. What I'm going to have here is I'm going to 90 down into the trunk. So let's make it right so I don't have to fix it off camera. Alright, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to 4-inch PVC 90 up this. So that's going to go like that, and that's going to 90 down into my line. So I'm going to have a Y on its back. So this pipe's not going to be perfect. I need to stick a TY in there, but we're not too worried about that. We're probably going to make this the critical piece, right? We're going to just start here and do this whole thing and then make this piece work. That's probably how we're going to do it out there. What I want to be able to do is get this Y started here and then run this whole line. That's what I want to be able to do, because this is the most complicated section here, and I don't want to have to measure all these toilets out and get all these string lines straight and do all that. I just want to double check it by putting up a couple of these strings, but I want to get this in place, right? Because it's not too far off the outside wall that I can't get this Y in place. Get this string line up, start this right here, and then move. Or be able to start from one of these toilets, put the Y here so that this toilet lines up perfect, and then just build back and forth. You know what I mean? It's kind of a weird way to start, but you get your ditch dug, get everything about halfway right, set this toilet, and then cut all your pieces and work your way down through this whole line. You know what I mean? It's not as bad as it sounds. But ideally, you get this Y set, then work your way up, and then it's easy to make this tie-in right here at this pipe. Something like that, you know? So, you get that in, then we'll do a 90 up here. Snap that in place. 4x2Y with a 2-inch 45. Snap it. Snap it. Oop. Snap it. Snap it. Right. Go ahead and group these together so I got a TY. Myself a center line to work with. Get that set. That's it. Boom. Boom. There's that. That's my 4x2. Here's my 4" going up. I can get the measurements on those pieces. Keep going. Alright. I can actually take this, group it up. Do that again, right there. Boom. In there. There's my other assembly going that way. So these two pieces can be the exact same. And this forces you, right? Not only does it force you to be perfectly square, it helps you stay perfectly square. Alright? It helps you stay perfectly square, because if you got a string line up for this wall and you just eyeball it to where you're about the same distance off the string line, right? Take a quick measurement, get it so it looks good. This whole line is gonna stay straight. It's gotta stay straight, right? So that you can hit everything. The other thing this does is it lets you make sure you know you got enough room for all the fittings you want to put in, right? You want to make sure that like this, you know what I mean? Just do a makeup right there. Just do a makeup to go hit this floor drain. Alright? Easy. We know we have enough room for a piece of pipe in between. Alright, and even if you're like, hey man, this is a groundwork and I don't have enough room to do all this, I'm not going to be able to lay this out perfect. Or let me back up. Forget about room, right? I'm not going to be able to line all these up perfect. I'm not going to be able to exactly do this. Even if you don't get it for that, right? There's a lot better use cases for something like this. A lot better use cases, okay? But B, you know, hey, I know what fittings I'm going to need, and I know I'm going to have enough room to hit this and that and this and that, right? I know I'm going to be okay because I've already laid this out, and I know I'm good to go. So I know approximately where everything's going to end up, and it's just when you got all this fittings and stuff scaled, it's just a little bit of extra work, right? It's just a little bit of extra work to lay it out. Get one of the guys, you know, get somebody who's got a little bit of spare time to lay this thing out real quick and make sure that that you're good to go. Make sure that everything's in good shape and you know about how you're going to lay things out. And even better, you know, if you're doing as-builts and stuff, you've got a really nice looking set of as-builts, you know. Everything is perfectly to scale, exactly where it goes. If you're trying to figure out, hey, do I have enough room to fit this stuff in here? Is everything gonna fit in this room the way I expect it to? You know for sure that it will, that it does, that you're good, that everything will line right up. Can I get from A to B and be in good shape? Can I fit everything in this bucket? Because I'm not sure. Yeah, you're good, man. We laid it out. It's to scale. We know about where all our pipe's going to end up. We know exactly how it's going to go. And with just a couple hours of taking your time to lay some stuff out, you know exactly where you're going. And if you are in a situation where this is like the perfect use case, you'll save hours in the field. You know, you can just get yourself set up sit down, drink some coffee, and lay everything out, man. Lay it out. You know what? I'm curious. Can I stick this on a 45 and run straight over to my main instead of having to use an extra 90? Or an extra 45, I mean. Can I just Y straight down? Well, I don't know. Is that going to work? Where I want to end up, is that going to work? No, I can't. I can't pull it off like that, right? I probably could 45 this one back, 45 this one back, 45 that one back, and make it. So I probably could do this a little bit more efficiently. But no, not really, because the other options kind of suck, right? The other options kind of suck. So I'm just gonna Y over to catch that. I'm just gonna do it on a 90. It is what it is, you know? That's gonna be the best way to do it. Set up my center line here. Set up my 4x3Y with my 3-inch street 45. I don't know about you guys, but I don't buy a ton of real TYs because I want to have options. If you do TYs, you can double check the dimensions and make sure that a TY works, or have a TY sketch to scale, right? And be good to go. But in general, me personally, I don't do it like that. Okay, and then we get to a complicated group. We get to a more complicated group where I know I can't Y to hit both of these, right? So one's gonna be on a 45 straight on that way. Boom. Alright. And then the other one's gonna be a 4x3Y. Alright, and we have to mirror this, so you click on it, alignment, flip horizontal, boom. It did the thing. It did the thing. I'll get that fixed. Where when you flip it, it messes this up so that the hub colors. I don't know why it does that, but anyway, it's not important. I might even take away the shading on these fittings. The shading's kind of ridiculous anyway. It might be easier just to make it clear so you know that that's a hub. Whatever works. But anyway, it's not important. It's not important because we're going to do 3-inch street 45. Flip that horizontal. I don't know why it does that. It's really annoying to me that it does that. Anyway, I can't remember how I fixed that before. It's been a while since I had a good use case for this. Boom, got that center. Boom, 4x390 up. Boom. Got that. There's my pipe. There's my pipe. There's my pipe. Yeah, we're okay. We're still in good shape. Because I should be able to catch this right on a 45. Snap that right in place. Hopefully this will work because I don't want to. Ooh, it's close, right? And these are the things that you can get worked out. Hey, can I run it like this? Or am I going to have a problem? Am I going to have a problem if I try to catch all these things in this group exactly like this? I really need to set the default for this line so that it's yep, that's it. Um is this my hair off? My hair off? I am. Hair off that line. Good. Good. Yeah. This, oh, because that's not my center line. What is this line for? Oh, that's a dimension. I'm like, why am I off? Alright. Take this out. Centered up. No. Minor adjustment. There we go. Boom. There we go. Alright. Got that straight. Yep. All that's good. Okay. So that's there. And yes, I have enough room for a piece of pipe there. So we're good. Ooh, but I need my circuit vent there. it like this, I can and just roll, man. Just roll, you know. And as it's gonna go, so that you know. And this does work. I've done it. I've been doing it. I started out um, drawing this on paper at 1 inch per foot, drawing ink baths and the whole idea. So on a piece of paper, I draw the fittings out to scale. I just draw the lines however far they had to go. I obviously didn't take the time to make double lines like this, but I'd go, okay, it's this far to this fitting, this far to that fitting, this far to that fitting, and I'd write down the numbers and figure it out, so I could say, cut me a piece of no hub this long, cut me a piece of no hub this long, cut me a piece of no hub this long. And you know, especially when you're trying to get a group of guys to do a complicated job, it just saves you a ton of time, man. It saves you a ton of time in the long run. It doesn't take long once you get, and like I said, in a special use case scenario, it is worth its weight in gold. Saves you an absolute ton of, uh, you know, I'm not sure. Should we do it like this? Should we do it like that? Anyway, I'll leave it at that. This video is already almost 2 hours, right? It's already almost 2 hours, so there's no point in continuing. You get the idea. That's how you lay it out. Is where you're at.